Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV Velocities in Music. Guys, we're gonna review the new Explosions in the Sky record, Take Care, Take Care, Take Care, or Take Care Cubed. Explosions in the Sky, post-rock. You guys know what post-rock is. You gotta love Explosions in the Sky. I feel like they're my favorite post-rock band. I know a lot of people out there don't like that. Tom's a Saxon Shore. I know a lot of people out there love Mogwai, but I'm not. While I like all those bands, and really all of post-rock, I think is pretty awesome. You
generally can't go wrong with it.
You really can't,
for the most part.
Explosions in the Sky to me just kind of speaks to me more because I really like guitar work, and I feel like Explosions in the Sky, their guitars just do everything. They provide these great hooks and melodies, and they work well as lead, they work well as rhythm guitar when it's all distorted background, and then they even do lots of atmosphere too. There's just it's so multi-dimensional that it's just really easy for me to get into. Plus, their main focus is expansive, progressive songwriting, and dynamics, and those are like the main things I love about music. And so I really get into Explosions in the Sky's albums. This new one, and I want to give you a shout out. I know a lot of you guys who watch Velocities in Music also watch The Needle Drop, and I watched Anthony Fantano's review of Take Care Cubed, and while I think Anthony made a lot of great points, he did mention that, you know, he gave this a 5 out of 10, and mentioned that it just didn't grip him emotionally. And I just want to say that I think that's a great point. And with any post-rock, you guys have to understand that post-rock is all about the emotional connection. You don't have vocals and lyrics, and vocals and lyrics is really one of the main kind of avenues at which a person can connect to music and have them build an emotional connection between the music and your listening experience. And since post-rock doesn't have that, they have to do that in other ways. So the records have to be emotive. They have to catch you. They have to grab you, and they're going to have to do that by putting a lot of passion into their songwriting. Use a lot of minor keys and a lot of key changes. They're going to have to do a lot with dynamics. Yeah. And I will say that Take Care, Take Care, Take Care is kind of just the next step for Explosions in the Sky. It's kind of like they just took the last album and rolled it forward. And to me, Tom, I felt like this one is a step down, just a little bit, just because it's not quite as emotive. The only track that really washed me over with just these huge waves of emotion was the first track, Last Known Surroundings, which is like 6.5 something minutes long, and it's really powerful. And while I agree with Anthony, and I think that what you should do is take Anthony's words seriously, that you might have some sort of emotional reaction that's not quite as extreme as in previous or other post-rock albums. I still think there's a lot of really good qualities here, and I think that different people are going to react to it differently, and that's something that you should take in mind. So while it was present for me, it wasn't quite as severe, is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly, and it really depends more on where you find that emotional connection, because here, there's much more of a focus on the production. I mean, production on Explosions in the Sky albums have never been terrible by any means, but this is, I feel like, even more polished sounding than their previous work. And some people, I know, actually that makes it more accessible for them, and some people actually have a problem with that. I know some people are really into the more washy, kind of lo-fi sounds. But here, yeah, it really does come down to the emotional connection, and I think it is a little more difficult to make that connection to this album, but at the same time, there is a flip side to that, and where you'll have people that are upset about that aspect of it. I think you'll have people that love this album for just how much movement there is in the instrumentals. If Explosions in the Sky ever frustrated you for being almost like too slow, they probably won't here.
Right.
I mean, there are moments, obviously. There are slow moments, the last couple tracks in particular even, but where this album moves, it moves a lot more than I think a lot of their earlier work does. Right. Just in that fast guitar work, the drums even, I mean, it's just, I feel like it rocks. It rocks in spots that you don't get. Yeah. And I really like that. Obviously, always going to be a high contrast in the post-rock genre. So, I mean, for me, this album is on par with their early work, or not necessarily early work, but just past work in general. It's on par with it. Better in some ways and worse in some ways. It just kind of evens out for me.
Yeah, one change I noted in the production is there's just a bit more reverb. It doesn't sound quite as crisp and clear as I typically would prefer, which really I think just comes down to personal preference. Reverb's a huge fad right now in music. It's on everything.
Yeah.
Everything's just soaked in reverb. One thing I love about Explosions in the Sky that this album they definitely exemplified is just their ability to have songs go into long lengths. This is a 6-track album, guys, and it's still like 45 minutes long. And to have these longer track lengths where you have like 6.5, 8.5, 10 minutes. The last track's 10 minutes long, and to still be able to keep it interesting, to provide enough structure changes, to provide enough melody changes and different hooks in one track that it's one movement. And it just works the whole time. I think that that's just kind of that shows a lot of talent. It shows a lot of powerful songwriting. So I'm sitting at a 78 for this one.
I'm gonna go even 80.
So right around that 80 mark for us. We think it's a strong album. It could be stronger, and the emotional appeal, it might get you a little differently. So just a little bit forewarning. What did you guys think? If you've taken a listen to Take Care, Take Care, Take Care, we'd love to hear your thoughts at www.velocitiesandmusic.com or youtube.com/velocitiesandmusic. We'd also love for you guys to follow us on Twitter or like us on Facebook, and also to check out Ian, the third member of VIMTV's blog at vimtv.tumblr.com. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.